The first time I saw her, I thought I had stumbled onto a vision of heaven itself. Even now, decades later, I can still recall that moment with painful clarity, the moonlight falling across her pale skin, her gown of moss and leaves shifting like living silk, her hair spilling golden as wild autumn grasses. She was beauty beyond anything I'd ever known. But the night I nearly died in her grasp taught me what beauty really costs. That night taught me that some legends aren't meant to be admired, or even spoken aloud. They're meant to be feared. Before I get ahead of myself, I should explain who I am, and how I ended up trapped between roots and thorns, bargaining with something that called itself the forest. My name doesn't matter much anymore. What matters is where I'm from. I was born in the Appalachian Mountains, raised in a place where the hills roll like sleeping giants and the fog clings to the trees as if it's afraid to let go. Folks here live hard, die young, and cling to stories older than the country itself. Growing up, I heard every kind of mountain tale, wood boogers lurking in the shadows, dogmen that ran on two legs, witches who cursed entire families, and the wives of the woods, spirits that looked like women but weren't women at all. They were said to be protectors of the forest, punishing anyone who dared to take too much. As a child, those stories scared me. As a teenager, I laughed at them. By the time I was a grown man, I dismissed them entirely. Tales for old folks to keep children from wandering too far from home. What I couldn't dismiss was the family trait. My father and grandfather were loggers, and I followed in their footsteps. By the time I was 21, I was already 3 years into the work. It suited me being deep in the forest, away from town, away from distractions. I didn't date, didn't waste money in bars, didn't care about anything except the job and the freedom it gave me. While most of the crew went home on weekends or holidays, I stayed behind. I loved sleeping under the stars, listening to the night sounds, pretending the whole mountain was mine. My older brother, who handled the business end of things, used to joke that I was more tree than man. Maybe he was right. I didn't know then how dangerous that mindset was, how wrong I was to think the woods were ever truly mine. It was during one of those quiet summer nights, around the 4th of July if I recall, when I first met her. I was lying in a clearing, staring up at the stars, when I heard someone clear their throat, not far off. At first I thought it was one of the crew sneaking back to play a prank. But what I saw wasn't any man. Behind a thicket of laurel bushes, a shape moved like a sheet of moss drifting in the breeze. I crept closer, heart thudding, axe in hand. When the figure turned, moonlight revealed her face. She was not human. She was not spirit. She was something in between. I froze, unable to move, unable to breathe. Her eyes glowed pale as ice. She reached out, brushed her fingers across my forehead, and whispered words I'll never forget. "There is no harm in you. I will spare you, for a while." And then she vanished. For the next 3 nights, she came again. Each time, a little longer. Each time, a little closer. By the 4th night, I was convinced I had lost my mind. When the rest of the crew returned, they noticed I was distracted. My brother asked what was wrong, and I told him everything. He listened, shaking his head the whole time, then told me plain, "You're not talking about a woman. You're talking about a wood wife. Stay out of the woods at night, or she'll ruin you." I laughed him off. He hadn't seen her. He didn't know the way she looked at me, the way her presence filled me with both fear and longing. I didn't care if she was elf, witch, or demon. I wanted her. So I went back, night after night, waiting for her. When she finally appeared again, something in her eyes had changed. There was a sharpness there, a warning. Still, I convinced myself she cared for me as much as I cared for her. Weeks passed. By autumn, I knew I was in love. I would work faster each day just to rush nightfall, praying she would come. And when she did, I felt whole. One evening, she whispered into my thoughts, not with her lips, but directly into my mind. "I am the forest," she said. "I know," I answered. "I am protector." "Yes," I told her. "You and the others must leave. Never return here." Her words were final, but I couldn't accept them. "No," I said. "I need to see you. Don't send me away." But she was gone. After that, my world fell apart. I searched the woods, calling her name, begging her to come back. When she didn't, desperation turned to anger. I cursed her, threatened her, swung my axe at empty trees as if to force her hand. My crew noticed the change. I stopped eating with them, stopped laughing at their jokes. My brother pulled me aside, told me to quit before I lost myself completely. But I didn't listen. One night, filled with rage, I carried my axe to the oldest oak on the mountain. If she was truly the forest, then she would hear my threats. I raised the blade, ready to strike. And then she appeared. She leaned against the oak, eyes burning green, staring straight into me. My fury broke. I dropped to my knees, sobbing, ashamed. She touched my face with cool fingers and whispered into my thoughts. "You are a man of your word. You would have destroyed all to see me again." I nodded, helpless. She smiled, took my hand, and led me deeper into the woods, into a grotto draped with moss. There, she began to dance. Her gown of green unraveled layer by layer, dissolving into sparks as it fell. I was entranced. She moved like wine through branches, graceful, untouchable. When she was nearly bare, she stepped toward me, her laughter like water over stone. For the first time, I thought she was truly mine. Dawn crept into the grotto, and with it came the truth. Her hair bristled like thorns, her skin cracked like bark, her teeth lengthened into fangs. Her eyes burned yellow like a viper. The beauty I had worshipped twisted into horror. Roots surged from the earth, wrapping my ankles, dragging me down. Her thighs, spiked with barbs, clamped against my ribs, drawing blood as she hissed into my face. "You wanted me more than anything." I screamed, denying her, thrashing against the bindings. My fingers clawed for the axe I had dropped, just inches away. Her tongue flicked across my cheek, venom dripping. With one desperate heave, I wrenched my wrist free and seized the axe. As her teeth sank into my shoulder, I swung blindly. The blade connected, severing her head from her body. But death did not claim her. Her body writhed, thorns digging deeper. The ropes of vine and root tightened, breaking bones, pulling me apart. I hacked wildly, severing the living ropes, each cut releasing a shriek that echoed inside my skull. At last I was free, hobbling, bleeding, half delirious. Yet the forest was not done with me. Saplings bent and swayed, wrapping me like a coffin. My foot shattered, my arm tore loose, hanging by threads of muscle. I remember the world fading, my blood soaking the earth, and then nothing. When I opened my eyes again, I was in a hospital bed. My brother sat beside me, his face drawn with worry. He told me I'd been mauled by a mountain lion, that the crew had found me just in time. But I knew better. I never spoke of her again, not to anyone but him. And even then he dismissed it as blood-loss delirium. He was wrong. The doctors saved my foot with metal and pins, but I never walked the same again. My arm was gone forever, for months. The crew visited. Then they stopped. Only my brother stayed, checking on me every day until he passed away last year. Now it's just me, an old man with scars that ache every winter, and memories that never fade. Sometimes I wonder if I had left when she warned me. Would she have spared me? Or would she have followed me to the next mountain? To the next job? Was she guardian? Witch? Demon? I'll never know. But I do know this. I will never set foot in those woods again. And if you're wise, neither will you. What do you think? Was this just a tale about one man and a legend? Or is it a warning about the violence we bring upon ourselves through pride, obsession, and injustice? Do you believe the forest protects itself? Or do you think this was all madness born of isolation? Share your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your stance, especially on how violence and unfairness shape our lives.